Back at the track. I've done zero track time. Zero really driving my car. Pretty much zero since last October. I think I probably put maybe 7 miles in my car since then. And that's just honestly to keep the tires from flat spotting and, keep the lube in the transmission and all that stuff. Yeah, so, and I haven't been on the East for I don't even know how long. So this is the first time back. Yeah. Big thing about this weekend was me trying out my new Federal Evolution ST1s. Yeah. 300 treadwear street tire. 285 width. 285 30 19. And yeah, pretty much I wanted to get some for my second set of rims, my bigger rims, my 19-inch rims. Wanted to get a set of Pros, the 595 RS Pros, whatever, and Federal makes. And yeah, it was going to be like $740, $760, somewhere around there. $700 range. And even though some of you guys, if you're watching this and you have anything else like Continental Extreme Contacts or Cup 2s or Michelin 4S's or any of the other ones, you're like, God damn, that ain't a bad price. For a 285 width, that's pretty damn good. Well, $700 and some dollars. Well, the problem was I didn't want to spend that. So I went on the old interweb and Googled cheapest summer tires, 285 30 19. And it came up with like 3 brands, which 2 I knew about and 1 I didn't. And the one I didn't was the Accelera PHI 2s. And they're like literally $480, $490. But everybody was sold out. So that was off the table. So couldn't get them anyways. I was like, all right. Well, next cheapest set was going to be the FP8000s that I had on the cart. So I was like, well, that's possible. But for $10 more a tire, get the Evolution ST1s. Now, is it a better tire? Hell if I know. I know now, but I didn't know at the time. But hey, I like Federal, a bunch of other tires it makes. So, and my friend runs them on his RCF, and he really likes them a lot. So yeah, I bought them, slapped them on the car. It cost me like $540 for all of them. Put them on the car and slap them on, head to the track, break them in, and going out there and woo-hoo, having some fun. Right away, the joys and bad things about a street tire. The joys of a street tire, well, you don't care about the weather because a little rain, hey, you're on a street tire, it does rain really well. 2, don't have to wait shit for it to heat up. They're good to go immediately. So, like, all these guys in these R-comps and slicks are, trying to warm up the tires, and I'm like, get moving. Move, people. I'm on their ass. And then their tires come up temperature and they disappear like they go into warp drive and I just leave me for dead. But tires were interesting. First session, I went into it blind, went out there, running with the Fast Boys, Z06 and a ZR1. First ZR1 I'd ever seen in person, to be honest with you. And both of them on slicks and a couple Caymans on slicks. And needless to say was tire overheated about 2 laps in. And I was like, holy balls. And it was kind of all over the place a little bit. Slowed down. People were getting by me, passed me right and left. And I was like, ugh. But a couple things I figured out when I came off the track, figured out, well, tire pressure. What the hell is my tire pressure at? Well, it was too high. It was at 33 PSI a tire. I lowered it down to 27. Or 29, I mean. And then I burned off the fuel, ripped around, kept driving around until I got the fuel load down to below 3/4 of a tank. And then at that point, all right, the car is doable now. And I can see the Mustang. Oh, that's him. Oh, here I go. I'm passing him. Okay, that probably wouldn't have happened in a normal circumstance. That Mustang makes his Mustang better than my Mustang. It's pretty sweet. In fact, he somehow managed to shoehorn 325 squared on that thing, which I didn't even know was humanly possible. But I was like, really? It fits? Like, I could not believe it. But he said, yeah, camber plate in the front, fit him right in. And I could tell by his 6-spot pistons that it's probably a performance pack Mustang. Now, the 6-spot piston Brembos versus the 4-spot Brembos, to me, it's 6s. I mean, they're better, but to me, I don't go, oh, you got 6 spots, you're going to kill me. I don't really look at it like that. The 2 smoking tires the smoking gun was, or gorillas in the room was, the 325 with tires, Indy 500s that he was running, which are a 340 treadwear. So we're running the same, but that is a big ass tire. That's a lot of rubber. But besides that is the rear end gearing. That's one thing that if I ever get money, I've been telling myself since I got my car and this is that I want to change the rear end, because the performance pack comes with the 373's torsion diff. The gearing alone makes a huge difference in the cars. Huge. When I bought the car, I didn't even realize like they came with different gears. That's how naive and dumb I was about it. And I had 2 S550 Mustangs, same time. I had a 16 and a 17. And the 16 had 355 gears in it. And then the one I have, one I bring to the track all the time, has 331s in it. Doesn't sound like much, and those are taller gears than a 373 that comes in a performance pack. It makes a huge difference. We actually roll raced both my Mustangs against each other, and the one with the 355 gears, my 16 walked my 17. It just pulled out and it just slowly ticked away. And it just gets worse when you go with the 373s. So out of the corners, his car pulls better than mine, to say the least. But as you see, I ended up getting by him here. The main thing that I saw was, I knew the traction in my car was going to be better this second session. And B, my fuel load came down. And the third thing, and the biggest one, was he had a passenger. And as soon as I saw a passenger get into his car, I knew he's all right. His little advantages are going to go away, because it's weird how Mustangs are, at least, and I'm sure all cars like this, but for me, I drive Mustangs, so that's what I'm used to, is small weight loads, you notice it. And even a full fuel tank versus half a fuel tank, I tell the difference. The car on a full fuel tank, it plows more, plows like a freaking tractor in a cornfield in Nebraska, man. It's just, and the tires will overheat a little faster, and it doesn't want to play with you. It doesn't want to work with you when it comes to playing around, especially when you're on street tires. So you gotta, because the tires heating up and whatnot, you gotta start making adjustments to where you're entering, where you're exiting. Sometimes you're running wider, stuff like that. And yeah, so I went in there with the car working better, and so then I ended up getting by him and everybody else. And then, of course, my tires lasted about 4 laps, and then they fall off pretty severely, but I expected that. And it's a street tire. I mean, you can't ask the world of it. The tire has 0 wear on it. Like, I came off, and the tires are like, did I even take these to the track kind of thing? I mean, they're perfect. So yeah, the day ended up being pretty decent. I ended up making a mistake and filling the car back up with gas again, which I wanted to put a little splash of gas, and instead I filled it up and started plowing again and had the same issues, and then I burned it off. And then by the last session, it was back to smoking pretty fast again. I was cutting laps. Fastest lap was a 49.91. Did a lot of 150s, 151s, 152s. And when the car wasn't working the best as far as like fuel load, this and that, 152s. And then optimally, when it was working good, it was doing 50. I only did one 49.9. It was barely, so it mainly did 50, 51s pretty much the whole rest of the time. And yeah, for a street car and street tires, and yeah, nothing's been done to the car. Absolutely nothing. Cannot complain. It was a good day back, and yeah, it always shocks me how fast everything comes back to you. You know, even after a winter break, it's like, it was like 3/4 of a lap in. It was like I was back in it. Like it was like I never took a break. So yeah, not too bad. Fun way to start the year.